Hey guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a Monstera plant with alcohol ink. Here's my reference photo. I do it in black and white so that I can see the tones and so the colors don't influence me in any way. So I'm basically going to take the subject here and I'm going to just roughly sketch it out on, this is photo paper I'm using. So we've got stream. This is Tim Holtz stream I'm spraying on here. Right now we're just going to create a nice background for the plant. We're just going to spray it around with alcohol. This is 99% alcohol. This is Pesto by Tim Holtz. Add some nice green color in there. And just a little touch of some purple. This is Passion Purple by Pinata. I'm gonna put my glove on here, and we're just gonna spread it around a bit, make a real messy background. Don't worry, we'll smooth this out. It won't look so ugly. All right, we're gonna layer on some alcohol here. Dry it out a bit. Just using some crappy blow dryer from Walmart. It was like $5. You don't need any high-tech stuff for this kind of painting. And we're just gonna remove some of the ink. Alcohol ink is the ink is so pigmented. You really don't need a lot. It goes pretty far. So it's also a really economical medium to use. If you've worked with alcohol ink before, you'll know that you should be wearing a respirator because the fumes are pretty strong. So if you're not in a well-ventilated area, make sure that you're wearing a respirator while you work because we don't want you getting sick. If you get lightheaded at all, stop what you're doing and just take a break. Alright, so we're going to add more stream and more pesto, and we're going to hone in on this area where I want the first leaf to be. We're going to do 2 leaves. We're going to do one full one with the fenestrations. That's what those little cuts in the leaves are called. FYI, in case you didn't know. And then we're going to do a little baby leaf. I freaking love Monstera plants. I'm obsessed with them. I only became a plant lady in the COVID times, and, well, just like everybody else, right? And they're so pretty. They're just so unique. Oh, I just love this green. The pesto and stream makes this really nice, pure, lively green color. So we're just going to spray around the ink a bit, kind of focusing the darker pigments to where our leaf is going to be. And the more alcohol you use, the better a blend you're going to get. If you don't use a lot of alcohol, you know, don't be shy with the alcohol. If you use a lot, you'll get a really nice blendy color, but if you don't use enough, you'll find you get a lot of those little weird tendrils or spindly kind of bits. Also, if you're getting that a lot, you might be using too high of a blow setting on your blow dryer. So just gear it back a bit, you know? Take it easy, goes nice and slow. And don't be discouraged on your first layer. Like, this looks ugly as shit right now, but it's gonna look way better once we actually hone in on it and smooth it out a lot. It's hard not to get impatient, but we are really gonna layer this piece, so just bear with me as we blow dry all of this. A big thing to do too is to make sure that each layer is dried out completely, or you'll get some weird color mixing. Green especially is notorious for just going brown. You know, it's basic color theory. Just know the colors that you're working with. And that was stream again. We're just gonna get a little bit more blue down in this area because I find that blue really complements green nicely, and it flows together really nice. Color theory is such an important thing. You really want to make sure that you're learning color theory as you go along, and even myself, like different types of colors. It's just, especially with alcohol ink, it can have such unexpected effects depending on the undertones of each pigment or each dye you're using. So, you know, experiment, play around, get some cheap photo paper and just play with colors so that you can learn how the inks interact. Because alcohol ink is such a unique medium in that it has these weird undertones that interact with each other. So this is just a piece of paper towel, just throwing some alcohol onto it, and we're gonna scrub the shit out of this thing. This is what's gonna make a really nice blending background. So just go in small circles. If anything, actually use a tissue paper rather than paper towel, because paper towel has a texture on it and you're going to find it frustrating, probably. I know I do. So use a piece of tissue paper, or, sorry, not tissue paper, like Kleenex, that you blow your nose with. Because it doesn't really have a texture on it and it will smooth out your inks really nicely. If you find it's not blending well, you either need to scrub harder or add a little bit of alcohol to it and just really work into it. So you can see I'm just kind of smoothing out these lines so that they're not so hard. And as the alcohol dries on there, it kind of allows you to really soften the edges. We're just gonna speed this up a little bit because this honestly goes on forever. It does take a long time, and you really gotta put some muscle into it, quite honestly. You can see my table shaking from me scrubbing the heck out of it. Alright, so we've softened up some of the edges. We're going to soften it more later, but for now, we're going to start mixing our colors. So I'm using lime green by Tim Holtz as well as pesto mixed together to create this nice little lively organic green color. And alcohol ink is interesting. What we're gonna do, I call it a subtractive medium because, you know, with like acrylic, you're adding on top of each other, but alcohol ink, you're not really adding on top of it. You're kind of taking away from the ink below. So we're just gonna carve out sort of the shape of the leaf. Don't get too attached to this first layer. Even if it looks awesome, well, at least in this video, don't get attached. I like to carve out my images out of the ink first so that it interacts with the background colors, and then I really go in and I just mess it all up. It's gonna look great. I promise. So I'm using a synthetic tip brush. Make sure that the brushes you use are synthetic. If you use a real hair brush, it will fry the hair. Yeah, and then all of them will fall out and it will get in your ink and it will not be a good time because then you'll be picking it out. So yeah, use a synthetic brush. This one I'm using is an angle brush so that I can get those really cool shaped leaves. And I like to start with a big brush as well, like a bigger-ish brush for carving out the shape, just because then it's a nice loose composition. Nothing too, you know, there's no need for the first layer or any of the layers really with alcohol ink to be too particular. Alright, we're gonna make that cute little heart-shaped baby leaf. beauty with alcohol ink as well is if you don't like it, you can literally just flood it with alcohol and start again. It's awesome. Just gonna add some darker spots in here with the Tim Holtz pesto color, because not all leaves are this perfect, beautiful rainforest green. We all got those plants where at least one of the leaves are dying. Or at least some of the leaves are browning, or you know, it's just part of nature. So now we're going to really screw this leaf up. On purpose. I go in now and I go around the leaf with just alcohol. This is just alcohol mixing with my brush color and with the leaf. And basically we're going to carve the background out of the leaf. And then we're going to go back in again and work on the leaf again after. But this allows me to create some contrast with the background without losing the depth of the background, if that makes sense. It'll make sense in a minute. If we had left the background and we kept working into the leaf, I personally think it would be too busy. I really like to have my subject strong and detailed, and the background to be blurred, and you know that kind of, is it bokeh? I don't really know how to say the word. In photography, when they blur the background and it looks really pretty and the subject is super vibrant, that's kind of the effect that I'm trying to go for here. So again, we're going to scrub the hell out of it and blend it in with the background. I know it looks like crap right now. Again, it's a work in progress. We just need to keep scrubbing, blend it in a bit, and then we'll work back into that leaf and really make the leaf stand out. I also like to do a blendy background because I don't really like leaving the paper just white. Because there's not really such thing as a true white in nature, and I don't know, I think it looks cool to just have some color in the background so that it really stands out when you peel that tape off. Oh, it's the most satisfying feeling. So I've got a bit of a smaller brush here now, and I'm working into where I want the kind of darker areas to be on the leaf, and also just defining the outline a little better. With alcohol ink, you pretty much mostly want to work dark to light, strangely enough, because when you lay down the ink, you're going to use the alcohol to draw the ink off of the page rather than adding more ink on top. So creating that base layer allowed us to create basically a strong shadow for the shadows of the leaf. And now we're going to go in and start to lighten it, highlight it, add details, and really kind of create our shape, I suppose. So you can see I'm being a lot more precise with this brush, taking my time a little more, really making sure that the leaf, that all of the leaf tips are nice and strong. Another little tip for when you're trying to do more subject work, like something specific in alcoholing, is work from back to front. That's really important, that your last layer is the most foremost of the subject, because it's really obvious when you try to go in and do the back layers first, or last, I mean. Because, say, for example, those far fenestrations that are around, that I'm currently working on, they are further away, but if I tried to draw them on top of the closer ones, it would look super weird, right? So I'm working on the back ones first and making sure those ones are really nice and defined, and then we'll start creating the center line of the leaf and working into the foreground and the highlights. So here's that centerpiece. I don't really know what the hell it's called, to be honest. I know nothing about plants, basically. I just really like them. I managed to kill all of them. I have so many plants, and they're all just very slowly dying. Another thing that you might notice next time you look at a leaf, the veins of the that's what it's called. The veins of the leaf are actually lighter than the leaf itself usually. So that's something that I think a lot of artists, or a lot of people who make leaf paintings and that, they usually make it darker, but they're actually lighter. So with alcohol ink, that works out really well, because we can do that as kind of a last step, is to lighten up all those veins. So now I've taken a little bit more ink, less diluted, and again, I'm just going back to front again. I kind of just go back to front probably 3 or 4 times in a composition, going dark to light. It really gives the subject a lot more depth if you do a couple layers. And just adding a couple more shades of green in there. This one has a little more lime green and a little less pesto, a little more alcohol to highlight the light areas of the leaf. So from the light in this composition, we can assume that the light is coming from slightly to the left and top. If I had to guess, the sun would probably be right about where the green bottle is at the top. Alright, the fun part. I love putting drippy drops all over everything. I think it just creates this really abstract and really neat feeling, especially with alcohol ink, the way the droplets separate from the ink. Use a variety of brush sizes as well. ranging from really big to really small, because then you can get all sorts of different dot sizes. Switch between using ink and alcohol. Right now I'm using ink on all my brushes, and then I use just straight alcohol as well to allow it to separate the color. And also do several layers of the dotting as well, because it can look really cool, and it integrates the dots as well to make them look not so just splattered on top of the painting. So usually I'll do like a layer or two, then I'll do a bunch of dots, and then I'm gonna go in, do another layer, and really integrate the painting together. Again, just taking some straight alcohol. I'm really working on some highlights. Don't neglect the stem. Make sure the stem has a few different layers on it as well. I was feeling like that leaf was looking a little dead, so I'm just going to work into some richer greens. Say about this piece as I continue to work through it, so I'm just going to turn up the music a little bit and let you kind of enjoy the process if you wish to watch. Stick around or skip to the end if you want. I don't care what you do, but at the end I do a once over of the whole piece, so you can really see up close all of the dots and leaves and everything like that. Just kind of cleaning up all the line work now. If you're looking to blend out a small space, which is what I should have done in this video, is use a small Q-tip to blend it out so that it doesn't need to be overworked. Alright, here we go. It's all done. It's beautiful Monstera. Here we go, for zooming in for a close-up. You can see all the dotting, the bubbles, various browns and greens and details. It's sick. I love it. Now we're going to peel back that tape. Oh, can't wait. Thanks for watching. You can check me out on Instagram at Jade Fox Paintings. That's Jaide. And on Facebook, Jade Fox Paintings. See you guys later.